Hi everyone, welcome back. I have another skincare reaction video for you. This one's a little bit different because it's not on Harper's Bazaar, it is not on Vogue. This is Rosie Huntington-Whiteley and her acne safe routine. I thought this would be an interesting one to do. She actually even has a newer skincare routine, but it's all about brightening. But I thought this would be an interesting one to react to, mostly because we don't really have too many reaction videos that are about acne specific routines. And I know for a lot of people when they're finding these types of skincare videos and stuff, what they're sometimes looking for is a solution to acne, the acne that they're dealing with. So I thought this would be a very interesting one to discuss, especially because she's such a beautiful woman. She is a model. You don't really associate skin problems with someone like her. I also thought this would be a refreshing topic because we see all of these celebrities with their perfect skin talk about just, slapping on all these expensive products, but we don't really hear about the issues that they deal with. So I thought we would take a look at this and hear what she has to say about it. I'll leave a link below to the original video so you can find it if you want to watch it, and if you also want to check out any of her other skincare videos, because she does have a lot of beauty videos on her YouTube channel.
Hi everybody! So I wanted to talk about something that has been a big revelation for me this year. I've talked quite a bit about how I have struggled through the years with various different bouts of acne, whether it's been quite severe or it's just been a small breakout, or just dealing with everyday congestion. As somebody that spends a lot of time in front of the camera, I'm having a lot of makeup put on me, and as a beauty lover, I find myself trying a lot of different things. My skin had actually been really incredible through my pregnancy, and after his birth in 2017, about 6 months later, I noticed that I was getting an enormous amount of congestion in my skin. These were like closed condone, I think that's how you say, closed pores, and just like a lot of little bumps. I'd go for a facial, I'd have them extracted, and then within a matter of days I was seeing that it was building up again. I just felt so insecure about my skin. People were commenting on it, and anybody that struggled with acne, whether it's a small breakout, whether it's severe, will know that it really is something that can emotionally affect you on the inside as well as on the outside. And so I really wanted to talk to you a little bit about non-comedogenic, and I want to preface that by just starting to say that I'm still learning about this, so be kind. And I really want to preface it by saying that this is the research that I've done, these are products that work for me. So a lot of people actually don't know.
All right, so first off, I like that she pointed out that this is an issue that she dealt with after her pregnancy, because a lot of people, myself included, are not really prepared for how our skin, our body, everything changes during pregnancy and afterwards too. And when I say afterwards, I mean, like she said, her skin was beautiful during her pregnancy. I felt like that. My first pregnancy, everyone kept being like, you have the glow and you look gorgeous. And I felt like my skin and my hair, like I felt like that maternal goddess, and I loved my first pregnancy. Second pregnancy, a whole other story, but first pregnancy, I definitely was like, I really love this. And I remember my friend Sharzad just rolling her eyes every single time I was like, I really like being pregnant. But as soon as I had the baby, everything changed, and I started to realize how much melasma I had because my hormones changed, and all my hair started to fall out and everything. And then fast forward, I'm on, baby number 2, and you guys have seen over the past year, I've had to deal with my melasma and all of the different changes that I've gone through, and I have dealt with comments. So while I'm not dealing with the same skin issues that she dealt with after pregnancy, I do know the feeling of being post-pregnancy and having people comment about your skin. It's a very strange thing. We put ourselves out there as people that are on camera. I mean, I'm nowhere near as famous as Rosie is. I can only imagine how many comments that she's getting, but I do experience where people are like, your skin looks bad to me. And really, like, this is something that you don't even know how to deal with it sometimes, because whether it's acne or other types of issues with your skin, sometimes you just don't know what to do with it, and you're left having to do all of this research, and it leaves you feeling a little bit broken, you know, because you're definitely dealing with this, and it doesn't help to have people pointing it out. Whether you are post-pregnancy or whatever, acne can present itself at any time. You can be the person who had acne as a teen, the person who's battled it all your life, the person who never had acne and then one day woke up and you were like, what the heck is going on? There are a lot of different times where you might deal with acne, and the one constant with acne is that it's annoying and it can definitely be very emotionally scarring, and I think that's really important that she brought that up.
Know what non-comedogenic means, and I'm going to explain it in the best way I can. Comedogenic ingredients are pore aggravators, essentially. That's really the best way of putting it. And I also want to preface this by saying that even if a product says it's non-comedogenic or it's oil-free, it might not actually be that. And I want to just share with you a couple of websites that I go to check if the products are non-comedogenic. There's a really great website called Acne Clinic NYC, and you can basically copy and paste the ingredient list from your product into the box, and it will tell you right away if this product is okay for you to use or if this product has a comedogenic ingredient in it. On those websites, you can really start to sort of see what ingredients are doing to your skin. Are they clogging your pores? Is it good for hydration? Is it tackling brown spots? And you can really start to do your own research and discover what the ingredients in your skincare and in your makeup is really doing for you, the pros and the cons. So at the beginning of this year,
I actually did not know about this website. I just checked it out because I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be some kind of like a propaganda website where they start to tell you that like ingredients are not safe for your skin and you need to use these like natural ingredients and stuff. And it's not. I typed in an ingredient deck, so that's what you do is you copy paste like the ingredient list of a product, punch it in, and then it just tells you if it's pore clogging or not. I think that she makes a really good point. If it says it's non-comedogenic, that does not mean that it won't clog your pores. The reason why you want to be aware of that is because if you're using too much stuff that could be too occlusive or too pore clogging and you are prone to it, then obviously you know what it can cause, right? But it doesn't matter if you are using way too many products, if you are aggravating your skin, if you're using something that your skin doesn't like, it can still lead to breakouts and acne. But it's always good to know if it is non-comedogenic because it's just a good starting point. And I think this is a really interesting website to look at.
A friend of mine recommended to me to see a facialist in LA called Biba de Sousa. She gives you this guide, which is a list of all of the comedogenic ingredients that we find in our skincare and makeup. So some of the worst offenders are ingredients like algae extract, algin, argan oil, chlorella, coconut oil, cocoa butter, kelp, mink oil, mysteric acid, red algae. There's just a long, long list.
One, I love that she talks about her esthetician from the start. She talked about having her, closed comedones extracted, and then she talks about how she went to Biba. I am a big fan of Biba. I love her so much. Her facials are amazing. I have videos with Biba. I think I have more than one video with Biba on this channel and on my personal YouTube channel. My favorite thing about Biba is that she really does customize your facial to what she thinks that you need, and she is just amazing too. Her personality and her soul, everything. She is a great skin healer, and she is a wonderful esthetician if you're looking for one in Los Angeles. I obviously just touched on knowing what's comedogenic for your skin, and using that website is really a cool idea because you can see that. She points out that coconut oil, for instance, is one of those ingredients that can be pore clogging, can be comedogenic. The reason why it's important to know this is because it also helps you figure out your skin type. If you use one of these types of ingredients and you notice you have breakouts, then that might actually start to steer you away from using ingredients that are too thick. Does it mean that other people can't use these ingredients? No, people that have really dry skin, people that are not acne prone, you might get away with using these ingredients, and you might see them saying in the comments section like, well, coconut oil is fine for me. I've been using it for 10 years and I've never had a problem. But just because that person doesn't have a problem doesn't mean that you won't have a problem. And that's why it's important to know these kinds of terms and what ingredients do for your skin.
One of the things I also wanted to mention was this book. This book is called Acne RX, and it's by a doctor who passed away recently, Dr. James E. Fulton. And so this book really gave me a deeper understanding into acne. And it really helped kind of bury a lot of myths that are surrounding acne, and with that knowledge has kind of really empowered me in my choices for my skincare products. So without further ado,
she's pointing out all this research that she's done in this book and everything, and it leads me to believe that she really did have a big acne issue, or at least an issue that bothered her deeply, because this is the reason why I meet people like you watching this channel, is because you have a skin issue and you start to do a lot of research because you have had it. I'm very interested in this book. I wish she would have given us some of the things that she learned. Like, what are these myths that they were busting in the book? I guess it just means that we have to buy it if we're interested. It's very interesting because I think we're watching her explain basically this path that she went down to try to solve this issue. And I think what's really important about that is letting everyone else know that this is what people go through. You're not the only person going through this if you deal with acne. There are other people, even people like her, who presumably never have issues because they're supposed to be beautiful and they're models and everything. It's important to know that everyone's trying to figure out these issues. Even if you go to an esthetician, it doesn't mean that you just can solve it easily.
I start every morning with this product from Is Clinical. I've talked about this product many times before. It is their cleansing complex. This is in a professional size. I'm such a big fan of this cleansing complex. It has a kind of low lather to it. It's incredibly gentle, great for removing makeup or starting the day. It doesn't strip the skin. It has a little bit of salicylic acid in it. And salicylic acid is great for resurfacing the skin. And I'm going to talk a little bit more on some of the ingredients that I do look for in my skincare products, like lactic acid, glycolic acid, the AHAs as they are called. It is a clear, lightweight formula, and it's gentle enough for kind of hypersensitive skin and really can be used for all skin types. So if you have acne, you don't have acne, you have dry skin, you have oily skin, I really do recommend this cleansing complex. Another one of my favorite cleansers that
People love that cleanser. And you know what's funny is I hear celebrities talk about it all the time. I don't hear a lot of people in like the like skinfluencer, it sounds sexual, in like this, you know, the skincare influencer industry talk about this product enough, but this is a wonderful cleanser. You haven't heard me talk about it because I just haven't used it lately because there are so many new cleansers on the market these days. But if you are looking for a really nice cleanser, no matter what your skin type is, this is a good one. It doesn't have pure salicylic acid in it. It actually has willow bark in it, which is kind of like a precursor to the salicylic acid. Willow bark is a wonderful exfoliating ingredient. It essentially is salicylic acid. It's just a little bit more gentle than pure salicylic acid. It also has retinol palmitate in it, which is really, it serves the purpose of being an antioxidant. So that's good for the formula as a preservative. It's also really nice for the skin. It's very gentle. It is a retinoid. It's just a ester, so it's a lot more gentle. The thing that I want to point out with this is people love this cleanser, and I hear lately especially, I've seen like on TikTok is like my nightmare sometimes. I go on there and I see so much misinformation on TikTok when it comes to skincare. I hear a lot of people say like, don't bother with cleansers that have actives in it. And I think that is such false information. Yes, your active ingredients work harder for you the longer they sit on your skin. So if you use a serum that has these types of actives in it, or if you use a moisturizer with these types of actives in it, yes, it will work a little bit harder for you because it sits on your skin longer. But not everybody can tolerate that. Sometimes all you need is a little exposure to a salicylic acid or a retinol palmitate, and you can get that in a cleanser. And if you want to really have it sit there a little bit longer, you can just let the cleanser sit on your skin a touch longer. Yes, you're gonna rinse it off. Does that mean that you're just throwing your money and the actives down the drain? No, you're getting the benefits of it for the time being, and sometimes that's all that you need. And if you think that I'm wrong, ask any dermatologist how often they recommend a salicylic acid cleanser or even a benzoyl peroxide cleanser. Benzoyl peroxide, when used in a topical, that can be very irritating to the skin, but if you put it in a cleanser, not as irritating, but you still get really great benefits from it. So that's the way you should be looking at it. Does it work? If it works for your skin, then yeah.
actually recently is this Purity Clean Cleanser from Cosmedix. It's an exfoliating cleanser. It has a little bit of lactic acid in it. I actually like to keep this in my shower, and I use it in the evening. It has a really sort of almost like tingling-like effect to it, but quite gentle. And again, I look for products that have perhaps salicylic acid in them, lactic acid, glycolic acid, as these acids are really going to help kind of resurface and strip the skin of dead skin cells. So they have that exfoliating quality to them, which is something that is important to do when you do have acne. The most recent...
Having a cleanser again with lactic acid in it, same thing. You might want those benefits. You know, the other reason why you would want to start with your cleanser having these types of exfoliating acids in them is because you can then maybe tolerate using another strong active in your skincare routine. So I hear people say all the time, they're like, oh God, like how do I tolerate 3 to 4 different serums with different exfoliating ingredients in it and stuff? That's usually a recipe for irritation, but if you choose wisely, and obviously whatever your skin can tolerate, you might be able to layer different types of actives into your skincare routine, into one skincare routine, whether it's morning or night, by having it in different types of products. So she's gonna go in with the cleansers that have some type of chemical exfoliant in it. It's gonna be rinsed off, so then it's not that strong, but it's giving her, you know, that exfoliation that she needs, especially if she's doing it on a daily basis. And then we'll see what she goes in with afterwards. But it's a good way to get multiple actives into your skincare routine.
Recent skincare product that I have been using, actually I recently discovered these maybe about a month ago, is these Skin Health oil control pads by a doctor called Dr. Abaji. He's a dermatologist here in Los Angeles. These are little sort of peel pads. I like to use these in the evening after I cleanse my skin. I'll use this all over my face and neck area, around my nose, my forehead. So the benefits of these pads is that they remove dead skin cells and remove any dirt or impurities upon the skin. And the salicylic acid in them provides an acne treatment. And then it has this really kind of cooling, like tingling effect as well. So I feel like my skin is so clean after these. I've been using them every evening for the last month and really seen a kind of evenness in my skin. And when I wake up in the morning, my skin actually has like an even more evenness in tone and color. So I've been a big fan of these. Another product that I've been using...
So obviously we're finding out that she has very tolerant skin, because when you are using, you know, acid cleansers and then you're going in with this type of a peel pad, and if you're experiencing really good results from it, then usually it means that you have pretty tolerant skin. People that have oily skin tend to have tolerant skin. You can have sensitive skin too, but you can have tolerant skin. And this can also be what leads to sometimes creating this sensitive skin or this non-tolerant skin, is when you start to use too much. And so a lot of the time I'll hear people say that they have acne, but they have sensitive skin. And then when you talk about what they've been using and stuff, you can tell that they've just overdone it. You'd always need to be aware that when you're using lots of different acids in one skincare routine, especially, and if you're using it daily, you could become intolerant to it and it could start to irritate your skin. And in that case, you just need to back it up a little bit. And this is one of the reasons why I tell people that you need to just introduce one product at a time if you can, because that way, if you do start to get irritation, you can pinpoint what it was that caused it. This is an interesting product because, one, Dr. Abaji is a respected dermatologist here in Los Angeles. This is a brand that he put out. It's called Skin Health, and it has some ingredients in here that would be considered controversial to people in the skincare industry lately. This has lots of different acids in them. So let's talk about the acids that are not controversial first off. And I was thinking about this. She's talking about all these different acids that you would want to use when you have acne. When you have acne, salicylic acid should be one of your go-to acids, and the reason for that is because it is lipophilic, which means that it can actually get into your pores. It is oil soluble. And when it is oil soluble, that means it's actually going to get into your pores from the inside out and unclog your pores. The other types of acids, the AHAs, those work in a different way. Those will definitely clear your pores a little bit, but they're not gonna get in there and they're not gonna be oil soluble. And you hear me talk about this with like oil cleansing, for instance. Oil removes oil. It's sort of along the same philosophy with oil-soluble ingredients like salicylic acid. So you want salicylic acid in your skincare routine somewhere if you have clogged pores or acne. She did then go into the AHAs, like lactic acid, for instance. That's more hydrating for your skin, and it's more of a resurfacing type of exfoliant, chemical exfoliant. It's not as irritating as salicylic acid can be, but it has its own purpose, and people use it more for its brightening effects also. Both exfoliating your skin, both working in two different ways. Salicylic acid can be very drying. Lactic acid, on the other hand, can be very hydrating for the skin. So sometimes you'll see it in even like soothing kind of products as well in smaller doses. This product has salicylic acid in it, it's 2%, which is a pretty strong product, considering especially that she's using it in her cleanser as well. But this also has other acids in it. It has glycolic acid and it has mandelic acid in it. Those are both AHAs. Mandelic acid is a very interesting ingredient for people that have clogged pores but have dry or sensitive skin. Mandelic acid is also lipophilic, so it will also get into your pores and unclog them. So sometimes when people are asking for an alternative to salicylic acid, I'll tell them mandelic acid is amazing. It's obviously in here paired up with the glycolic acid, so you're getting a lot of different benefits from this. But let's get to the controversial ingredients. One, there's witch hazel in this, and she talks about how there's like a tingly, kind of like refreshing feeling. I think that's from the witch hazel. Let's see. I mean, there are some other ingredients in here that can be causing that too, but there is witch hazel in here, and witch hazel is an astringent and it gives that refreshing feeling, and people, you know, really demonize it sometimes. But what people don't realize about witch hazel is it might not actually be that bad for your skin. One, people think that because it has drying alcohol, because sometimes it is distilled with alcohol, that it can be very irritating and drying, but not all witch hazel is distilled with alcohol. You can even steam distill witch hazel. I've seen some people ask, like, how do you know what the difference is in this witch hazel? And that's when you reach out to the company and ask them. There is also alcohol in this, a drying alcohol, and that is in there because that is how these ingredients are going to actually penetrate your skin. Is it bad? Not necessarily. Do you need to be aware of this and watch how your skin reacts to it? Definitely, but is it helping these ingredients actually go into your skin and work better? Probably. They'll probably penetrate better.
Been using for quite some time now is another Is Clinical product. This is their Super Serum. I love this product because it is loaded with vitamin C. So it's important for me with my skin, as I'm using salicylic acid, glycolic acid, lactic acid, that I'm also replenishing my skin and giving it a lot of hydration. And giving it the nutrients that it needs. So it safely brightens the skin, and it helps anybody with uneven skin tone, which is me, and it also helps in reducing of any fine lines or pigmentation. So I actually like to apply this in the morning, and what I do is I add it into the Is Clinical Hydra-Cool Serum. So I'm just going to apply a little bit in my hand so you can see the color and the texture. It is a gel-like texture, you can see. I'm going to try not dribble this everywhere, but it's a light blue color and a gel texture, and really does what it says on the tin, which is hydrates in a really cooling way. For somebody like myself that has congested skin, gel moisturizers are actually really great for me. And what I will do is then take the Super Serum and with the dropper apply 3 to 4 little drops into the Hydra-Cool serum, and then I just rub it into my hands, and actually instead of smoothing it all over my face, I like to kind of tap it, push it into my skin, and just spend, you know, a minute kind of really working it in, less in a sort of circular way that we typically apply moisturizer, and more just about patting into the areas. I can't say enough good things about this product. I've been using it for about 6 years now, and has been really great for me with my skin issues. So the last product...
This is something that I'm starting to see a little too often, and that's that people are cocktailing their own skincare products. What I mean by that is they're actually like mixing the product together and then putting it onto their skin. Sometimes there are brands that have products that you're meant to do that with. They want you to add this to your other products. But what I don't like about that is that we're not chemists, right? Like, we don't want to dilute the active ingredients that we're using. We don't know how much you're supposed to put into each product. You don't know what real benefits you're getting if you're mixing all of your products, because when they're made and formulated, they're made to be used the way that they are on their own, right? Unless, again, the brand says that you're supposed to mix this into other products, I usually recommend not mixing them. Instead, what I want you to do is to layer all of your different products. That's what you're supposed to do. Apply one of your products, let it sit for a second, you don't have to let it dry down completely, and then apply your next product. And then that way you're getting the right amount of the product on your skin and the ingredients on your skin, because when they're tested to be effective, and that's how they're assuming you're gonna use it. So when you wanna get the best results from your products, you have to make sure that you're layering them and not mixing them with other products. What she was doing though is she's taking her vitamin C serum and then she's putting it into basically like a hyaluronic acid serum, a very hydrating serum. It has other ingredients in it. It's more of a simplified way of me saying that, but it's basically just a hydrating serum that she mixed with her vitamin C serum. So she took this like really expensive vitamin C serum and then she diluted it with her hydrator. So you don't want to do that. Something I'm also noticing, it's not really like her full skincare routine, like a morning routine or a nighttime routine. She's just kind of telling us what she likes to use in her routines, in her morning and nighttime routines. So these are more like her go-to acne products. And these are all really good products. The only thing I'd say about this, the Hydra-Cool that she's using, I'm a big fan of IS Clinical, by the way, but the only thing I would say is that it has menthol in it. And sometimes menthol to me is one of the more aggravating, irritating kind of ingredients. So just be aware of it. I'm not saying you have to take it out of your skincare routine. It's just always good to know.
The last product I'm going to show you from Is Clinical is a product that I've talked about plenty over the years. It is their active serum. This is their most popular product that they have in their range. This is a great product for me to combat any congestion that I have. Also helps in the reduction of any fine lines or hyperpigmentation, and really helps kind of diminish the appearance of like an uneven skin tone. It smooths and it softens the skin, and it has a kind of like tingling like effect. I probably use this about 3 times a week in the evening before I apply any moisturizer. It's a little bit of an investment product, but really, really, truly has changed my skin over the years, and I can't live without it. As you've seen, I have mentioned quite a few of the Is Clinical products. This is not an ad. The products have been sent to me by the brand, but I can truly say that when I discovered this brand about 6 or 7 years ago, I became a fan immediately and have seen such incredible results using the products. Okay, so
it's interesting to see that she's using so much salicylic acid in her routine. Salicylic acid, honestly, if you have clogged pores or you're acne prone, salicylic acid is the ingredient you want to play with for sure. You might not want to use this much. She's under the care of an esthetician who is obviously helping her with her skin, and she's a great esthetician. I assume that she would speak to a dermatologist if it's really bothering her too. So these are probably products that were introduced to her and she was given the okay to tolerate it. So we're obviously seeing that she has very tolerant skin. That does not mean that you will. So I only say this to basically bring up that you should go into it very slowly. Introduce each of these salicylic acid type of products into your routine very slowly, because you want to see how your skin reacts. You'll see improvement pretty quickly with salicylic acid, so you'll know how your skin is tolerating it. But sometimes it's like, sometimes you add all these actives, especially salicylic acid, and if you get to that point where you're suddenly just so irritated, it can actually make your acne worse. So always go slowly with it. But this is a great product also. Again, has controversial ingredients, and that is the drying alcohol in it, but it's there to help the ingredients, the active ingredients, salicylic acid specifically, penetrate the skin and work harder for you. And it also has that menthol in it. Like, it's something that clicks in your head that maybe this is cleansing your skin better or something. It has no real purpose besides that, and it's not one of my favorite ingredients when it comes to skincare.
I had a question from Madam. What are your favorite non-comedogenic moisturizers? So I'm going to show you 3 of my favorites that I've been using.
Okay, before she gets into the moisturizers, the only thing that I was hoping I would see, and maybe she doesn't deal with melasma or hyperpigmentation, but she talked about vitamin C, but I think that we're starting to realize that there are so many other nice ingredients that help with hyperpigmentation, and especially PIH, which is post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. That's the dark marks, whether they're the red marks or even like the brown or black marks that you get after, or even like bluish tone marks that you get after your acne has gone away. Then you're left with all of the dark marks. This is something I've been thinking about a lot. Like, you can see even with my own brand Naturium, we have really gone hard with these brightening, anti-discoloration type of ingredients. So that's the alpha-arbutin and the azelaic acid for for people that get red marks or that have rosacea prone skin, even like tranexamic acid, these would be ingredients that I'd also be introducing into my skincare routine if I was dealing with acne, because I personally get the dark marks afterwards. So if you do deal with hyperpigmentation afterwards, those would be other ingredients to look for.
So one of my favorite moisturizers is from Biba. Biba is my facialist I mentioned earlier, and this is her daily moisturizer. It is a botanical moisturizer, perfect for daily use, hence the name, and it is really lightweight. So for me, I really like this because it's not a heavy cream, it's great under makeup, and just super easy to use every day. I don't have to think about it. It has a really kind of nice citrusy scent to it, and I've been using that over the last year or last 10 months since I met Biba, and seen just great results. I feel like my skin is hydrated, but it's not greasy, it's not oily, I don't feel like it's really heavy. So that is one. The second moisturizer I use from Biba is a moisturizer that she recently launched. It is her Cream Bee, and this I would describe as being a thick cream. This has a lot of body to it, and I like to use this in the evening because it is a little bit heavier. It is great for all skin types, and I know with Biba, whatever products that she recommends are of course going to be non-comedogenic. It is water-based hydration, and it has structured barrier protection. It also has like anti-wrinkle firming peptides in it. So I like to wear this in the evening if I feel like my skin is a little bit dry. You can really see how thick that is, but it's really lovely and smooth. And I love this because the daily moisturizer that I mentioned before is a much lighter moisturizer. So on those evenings when I want to feel like I have a bit more of a luxurious cream on, something that's really hydrating and thick, this really complements that. And then another moisturizer.
So I actually am very interested in both of these moisturizers. I trust Biba with skin. She loves skin. She puts a lot of love into the products that she's putting out for all of her clients as well. You know what was interesting? So the daily moisturizer, very light moisturizer, it has a little retinol palmitate in it. It's probably there more to serve the purpose of a preservative than to actually work on your skin, but it does have antioxidant properties. Similar to the way that there is usually like a vitamin E type of ingredient in a lot of products. It's sometimes they're more for the preservation of the actual formula and the ingredients in it, but it does serve some purpose as well. So retinol palmitate does that, and that is in this. And she says that it feels nice and light, and that's what I look for sometimes in a daily moisturizer. But I do love a rich, creamy moisturizer. What was funny is the first thing I saw was that this has shea butter in it, and then she had spent all this time talking about non-comedogenic ingredients. Shea butter can be sometimes comedogenic. This is one of those ingredients where it's not as intense as coconut oil, for instance. Shea butter has a lot of purpose. When women that are pregnant, for instance, when they want to use something to stop stretch marks and stuff, you can't stop stretch marks, but a good moisturizer for your skin is shea butter. I can handle shea butter because I have dry skin. There was actually an editor's note that popped up in the video, and I didn't actually read it until afterwards, and Carly from my team was like, did you see the editor's note? Because that was my first thought, was like, but this has shea butter in it. So they did point that out, that shea butter can be comedogenic, and it's really on you to figure that out. And this is why this kind of education is important. It's good to know, and if you have a reaction to it, then you'll stop using it and you'll never use it again. And that's why ingredient lists are very important, is once you know you don't like an ingredient, that's when you should be looking at an ingredient list to know that there's an ingredient that you're trying to avoid. You can't tell that much more from an ingredient list besides what you're trying to avoid. You have to try the product sometimes, and you might be surprised to see that you like it. So she obviously can handle shea butter in a nighttime product.
Moisturizer that I recently discovered is by SkinCeuticals. It's their Triple Lipid Restore 242. Katie Jane Hughes recommended me to this. She said that everybody that she has recommended to has been loving it, and it has like a real replenishment treatment to it. So the last product I'm going...
Okay, so this is interesting. So now we're saying like these rich moisturizers that she likes to use, and it's making a lot of sense to me because she was talking about all these salicylic acid type of products that she's using in the beginning. So we're seeing this pattern actually kind of bring itself up, is that she's trying to now restore her lipid barrier, and she's using these richer creams sometimes when she feels like she needs it. So this is why you gotta go slow, and you gotta know what you're doing with your skin, because you don't wanna get into this cycle of stripping your skin and then having to repair it, and then stripping your skin and having to repair it. You want it to be nice and balanced. That's really the key to having healthy skin.
Going to mention is this SPF 50 by Image Skincare. This is a daily ultimate protection moisturizer essentially, so it can work as an SPF but also as a moisturizer. I wear this of course every day in the summer or any days that I know I'm going to be exposed to the sun, and this is one SPF that I found really works for me underneath my makeup. So one of the
this also has shea butter in it. So this is, again, if you know that shea butter is not going to work for your skin because it's too rich for you, then you might want to avoid something like this. L10MD is always recommended by dermatologists because it has wonderful ingredients that are non-comedogenic. There are a lot of different sunscreen formulations to choose from that brand as well. Image Skincare is a great brand though, and they really take skin into account. But again, it comes down to what your skin can handle. So it's really dependent on that. If it works for your skin, it works for your skin. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But the most important thing here is that we're discussing this and we're talking about what can work for your skin and what you should be aware of. Another note about that is if you do find that you don't want to use a moisturizer and a sunscreen because it feels too thick for your skin because you do have oily or acne prone skin, you can actually use a sunscreen like this as your moisturizer as well. If you really think about it, when you look at the ingredients, it's really a moisturizer with sunscreen in it. So you can just use that as your only moisturizer as well.
Challenges that I do face is that some of my favorite makeup products have ingredients in them that are on this list. So therefore, my skincare routine, I am really diligent about. Every product that now touches my skin has been cross-checked by this list, has been approved by Biba herself, and so I really wanted to share those with you. And the rest of the time, I really try my very best. I would say I have like an 80-20 rule when it comes to makeup products, but I have seen a vast improvement from really just changing my skincare regime alone. And so
that might be the most important point that she made in this video. We talk about ingredients in skincare, the products that we're using in our skincare routine. But if you are having problems with congestion in your skin, with acne, any of that type of issue, then you should really look at the ingredients in your makeup because you are also putting your makeup on your skin. If you do have acneic skin, then what you're using in your makeup is very important, especially the ingredients in your foundations, primers that you use, anything that's gonna sit on your skin, especially if it's liquidy. So really take a look at those ingredients in your makeup because I hear a lot of people blame their skincare and they're not taking a look at what's in their makeup.
80-20 ratio really works for me and I've seen massive improvement with it, but it's different for everybody. For some people, you might have to be more diligent with it and for others, less so. So that's it. So those are my favorite non-comedogenic skincare products. I hope you guys found this helpful. Of course, I would love to know your thoughts. What are your favorite skincare products that are non-comedogenic? What are your favorite makeup products that are non-comedogenic? And let me know if any of you have had the same issues or any websites that you know of that have really helped you, any books.
All right, so that was Rosie Huntington-Whiteley and her go-to acne safe products. I thought this was really enlightening. Right at the very end, she started talking about this 80-20 rule. I think what she's trying to say is that as long as like 80% of her skincare products and her makeup products are non-comedogenic, then she's not too worried about the rest, the 20% of her products, and that seems to be working for her. I think that's a really good rule. I think sometimes it's hard to be very diligent about removing these types of ingredients from every single product from your routine. So it is a very good rule to have, and at least gets you started in being aware of what's in your products. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask below in the comments. Find me on Instagram, I'm at Susan Yara. Feel free to ask me anything, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.